So it's Carambola time.
All right.
We're in the middle of Carambola season, and we thought we'd do a tasting table on our two major varieties, which are Bell and Fwang Tung. And we have two major helpers for Saturday, Scott and
Hello.
Megan, and they are volunteering to be the tasting committee for Starfruit today. So
I'm excited.
So here are two varieties. This is Fwang Tung and Bell. And Fwang Tung is usually a whiter looking fruit than Bell, and Bell usually is more of an orange color. And there's also a difference in the ribs. Fwang Tung usually has wider ribs, and Bell a little bit narrower. This is a Bell here with wavy ribs, but actually this particular waviness is more common in Fwang Tung. So you can't go strictly by appearance because they do have some overlap, but fortunately I think they taste different. So let's see what our professional tasters
Let's see what
think.
these experts have to say.
Seasoned Carambola.
Yes, seasoned Carambola tasters over here.
So this one is the Fwang Tung, and I'll just cut some beautiful little slices.
stars.
I tend to cut Carambola like this. I support it in the center of the fruit and try not to put it down on the cutting surface because it will crush the ribs. Often just cutting a slice will crush a rib.
It smells so good already.
So anyway, this is the Fwang Tung. So I guess what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut a Bell, and we'll have that pretty side-by-side thing going.
Got Gary's sharp knife.
This is
Like
It looks like the bill knife.
Oh, that's what I meant.
yeah, I know, but it's not.
Why I want to call him his middle names. She's got herself enough with it.
Okay, so just for reference, we have Fwang Tung and Bell. So let's try these.
Okay, what do we do first?
Well, let's start with Fwang Tung since
Perfect, I was going for
yeah,
As luck would have it.
follow your lead. Yep. And with Carambola, the seeds are edible, but you're not required to eat them.
It is so crisp, so incredibly juicy, sweet and tart.
Yeah, it has a really nice balance between sweet and tart, and the texture on this one is really nice. It's nice and crispy, and it seems to start out a little bit sweeter towards the edges and then get a little bit more tart towards the center, which I like. So you get kind of a little variation in flavor as you go further into the fruit. Very refreshing, very juicy.
That's one thing about Carambola, it is so refreshing. Crisp, juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people and some resorts actually make juice out of Carambola and serve it, on very nice buffets,
That sounds
breakfast
lovely.
buffets, and, alongside orange juice.
Many of the people I know use it exclusively for juice. I think people, particularly from Cuba, at least
never
that's been
thought
my
to juice it.
experience, tend to enjoy it more as a juice than as a fruit.
So, I probably have been eating Carambola too long because when I taste it, the main flavor that I taste is best described as Carambola.
I was just going to say that.
It's another fruit that you really can't compare to
Yeah.
anything
I mean, you can
else.
say
You're
that
searching
it's sweet
for it,
and
but-
tart, but it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
about as far
Starfruit,
as you can get.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, even the consistency of the fruit is is different from
unlike
everything
anything.
that I can think of.
But I think it should be stated that these do not taste anything like a carambola you would buy in the store.
Oh, absolutely.
There is absolutely no comparison between what we're eating here and what you would pick up at Publix.
Yeah, the ones that they sell in grocery stores are selected because of their ability to hold up to storage and to handling. And even though they try very hard to instruct people how to be gentle with them, they still get crushed. And so whenever I've seen carambola in grocery stores, they're small. They're all of the ribs are brown, the edges of the ribs, and they just don't look like something you want to eat.
And I think they tend to be very sour. At least that's my memory
Oh,
of
you
eating.
bought them?
Oh yeah. Well, every time you buy a cheesecake or something at a restaurant that comes with a little piece of carambola on it, you can be pretty much assured that it's from a store, and it's almost always extremely tart. Sometimes to the point where you don't really want to eat it. These are not even the same fruit. I mean, obviously they are, but they're not even comparable to that experience.
It's not comparable because Chris didn't grow it.
Right,
didn't
that's
grow it.
exactly what it is. Yeah. No, it's like having a pineapple from the store versus one from your yard. Completely different experience. You don't get that acid that you would if you bought it from the store. This is very similar in that regard. But the flavor-wise, it's a carambola. I
Right?
don't know what
There's
else to call it.
you could search for other fruits to try and compare it to, but
Maybe
I come up with nothing.
Yeah,
because
maybe
it's
very
just,
mild green grape, but that's pushing it.
Yeah, that's
That's kind
that's
of
something though. Just the tartness of the skin and when you break the skin, but the texture, the texture's totally different. But the flavor,
I'd say
Maybe.
the closest I can come up with the texture is certain types of melon, maybe, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's so crispy and so full of juice, like star fruit.
Yeah, it's
Tastes like star
Yeah,
fruit.
well, what's it
not-
taste like?
star fruit.
yeah, it's nigh onto crunchy.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so we gotta get on to
Bell.
the second one here. This is Bell, and so let's see if we can.
Allow me to serve you.
Here she goes again.
Okay.
Just gotta make sure you take some spider webs off. Just a little extra.
It's protein.
There we go. Totally different fruit.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, totally different flavor.
yeah, definitely.
This is more citrusy to me. A lot more citrusy.
And I would say
In a good way.
I focus more on the sweetness of this.
Yeah. Doesn't have as much twang. Doesn't have as much.
It's a more simple flavor.
It is. Yeah. It's really nice though. It's somehow
think-
more familiar than the other one.
Yeah, it tastes more like a carambola, you know. But the Fwang Tung, not that this isn't good, but I think the consistency and the texture of the Fwang Tung blows this out of the water. I just like a firmer consistency. It's still juicy and delicious, but I think the Fwang Tung is more juicy.
This is definitely a lot crunchier than the Bell is.
This is still
This
very
is more
juicy.
of it's more of a monochromatic consistency. Whereas I think with
So
Fwang Tung,
let's try one that's slightly greener, and let's see if we can determine anything. I mean, this
thank
is
you,
right.
ma'am.
He's gonna get used to this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Won't be here for much longer, Scott.
Oh, you can't stay away.
You know I'll be back. So, with the younger Bell, it does have the same consistency as the Fwang Tung, but not nearly as much flavor.
I mean, the dominant flavor for me that's different is that it's a little sour.
Yeah, it's not nearly as sweet as the riper.
And so, you know, it's the Bell ripe versus the Bell less ripe. I mean, this is not unripe, it's just less
It's very
ripe.
much like a mango. When you get to the ripe stage, it's quite sweet, but when you eat it a little bit before it's perfectly orange, you get that more on the sour side of the balance.
I would say the Bell is very mild. The Fwang Tung
It
is
is.
a very complex carambola. I think it's my favorite. I think
You're
it's
not
safe.
alone.
I think it's safe to say I'm not alone.
You're not alone. You're in good company.
Okay, so to wrap it up, we have, we tried 2 different ripenesses of the Bell.
We're just
I know.
And you like the sweeter Bell better than the little bit sour Bell.
Both good, just both different.
And Fwang Tung, I think that this looks completely ripe, and these look. I can imagine that this is a little bit less ripe, so we can
Let's try
quickly try that and see if you have any.
Well, thank you, Ben.
It's almost like she's learned to share.
Almost.
But when the video stops.
The first one had significantly more flavor.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing too.
Yeah.
And this is. It's nice, but the first one was
It's almost less
much
crisp.
more flavor.
It is. I was
Right?
just thinking that
It's less
myself. It's a
crisp.
lot more. It's a lot more like the unripe Bell
Yeah,
in terms of the consistency.
and funny enough, it's a younger Fwang Tung. Yeah,
That's really weird.
that was really good. Still good. Still prefer.
Yeah, the totally ripe
You like the
and
Fwang.
still crisp Fwang Tung, and blew you guys away, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that was very nice.
So, okay, well that's great. We have these 2 varieties available right now. I don't want to sound like a sales pitch, but
They're really good.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's another one that comes very highly recommended that I'm grafting onto a large bunch of roots.
Ooh.
So next
exciting.
year, I think we will add a Srikambayan to the group. So
lovely.
we'll have to come back. We'll meet here,
Yep.
same tree,
Perfect.
next year.
Right under the
and
black
we'll,
sapote.
We'll
Yes.
do the 3
Yeah.
side by side.
We'll really be able to tell you then which is our favorite.
Yes. This.
And
this is
until
the
then, we'll just
precursor.
have to.
We'll just sit here all year and eat the rest of the star fruit.
When you send me out to pick star fruit, you wonder why it takes so long. It's because
Quality control is important.
quality control is
It's key.
exceptionally important.
It's key with star fruit. It's hit or miss.
All in all, star fruit is its own entity.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Well, thank you both for walking us through the star fruit and giving us your opinions on the 2 varieties.
Thanks, Chris, for having us.
Yeah,
Oh my
thank you.
goodness.
Thank you for being here.
It's been
again.
delicious.
It's been delicious.